So good evening. It is shortly after 5, and we'd like to call the Victoria County Municipal Council meeting for Monday, November 30th to order. The agenda has been circulated to you, to council. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda this evening? If we have none, I would like to have a motion to accept the agenda as circulated, please.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor McNeil, seconded by Councillor MacLeod. All in favor? Contrary minded? Motion's carried and the agenda is approved. So tonight we have a presentation from the Cape Breton Partnership. Carla Arsenault is here as Director CAO of the Cape Breton Partnership, and she has several staff with her who are doing presentations. And I will let Carla introduce her staff as she's going through the process and the presentation. So Carla, welcome to council, and please come forward, and welcome to Victoria County Council.
Thank you very much for having us this evening. For those of you that I have not met, congratulations on your recent, actually to all of you, congratulations on the election, and we're very thrilled to be here. My name is Carla Arsenault. I'm the President and CEO of the Cape Breton Partnership, and I have brought three of my colleagues along with us. We have Patrick Austin, who's your Economic Development Officer here in Victoria County. We have Aaron Flynn, who's our Creative Economy Development Officer, and Omar Tagaldeen, who is the Workforce Development and Immigration Officer for the Cape Breton Partnership. So we're going to run through, to give you an update really on sort of what we've been up to the last little while, and really kind of give, for the benefit of the new members of council, we want to give you a bit of an overview on what our organization does. So the Cape Breton Partnership has been around since 2004. We are a private sector-led economic development organization, and we focus on three things: promoting the island as a great place to live and invest, growing in a culture that values and celebrates creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurship, and connecting entrepreneurs and resources to the tools that they need to be successful. We are supported by a wide range of private sector investors who believe in our vision for the island and want to make and see our economy grow. We have a large private sector board of directors made up of businesses large and small from all across Cape Breton Island. And we also oversee the Regional Enterprise Network. Nova Scotia has a Regional Enterprise Network model for the province, and the Cape Breton Partnership oversees the two RENs here on the island. This Cape Breton REN, which is rural Cape Breton, and the CBRM REN. Within the Cape Breton REN, we have Victoria County, Inverness County, Richmond County, the town of Port Hawkesbury, and the four First Nations communities consisting of Membertou, Eskizoni, Wagmatcook, and Wagama. So why RENs? If you're just learning about the term Regional Enterprise Network this evening, RENs are essentially regional economic development. So we speak with a stronger voice on shared priorities for the region. We collaborate, it's an opportunity for municipalities to collaborate together. And essentially our job is to grow the economy outside of the city of Halifax. And we're very much the boots on the ground with respect to business. Economic development is a long game. It's not ribbon cutting and easy money and government subsidies. It's removing barriers to business success and a long-term approach to competitiveness for business. Our governance model consists of funding 50% from the province and 50% from the municipalities and our First Nations partner. We have a board of directors for the REN, which is made up of board members from the Cape Breton Partnership. They work to develop the strategy, approve the business plan. We have a liaison oversight committee, and I oversee the staff and manage the operational resources. The liaison oversight committee, again, so that would be the wardens and or mayors and First Nations chiefs, along with representatives from the provincial government. And we have the CAOs, which are also part of the liaison oversight. And then we have our core staff. So within the Cape Breton REN, you'd have myself, our Economic Development Officer, Patrick, Omar and Aaron, who are here this evening, and Shannon McNeil, who is our business planning advisor, and our communications coordinator. Jeremy Martel has filled that role for the last several years and has taken on a new position within the organization. So we are currently going to begin interviews soon for that position. So why the partnership? We've been around for 15 years. We are a strong regional collaborator. It's an opportunity to share resources with other municipal governments so that we can offer more services to Victoria County, and we provide a host of other programs and services you're able to access, and therefore reducing some costs. So that's a little bit of a high-level overview for new council to better understand how our organization works, and I will now hand it over to Patrick.
Thank you, Carla. So within Victoria County, our CB-REN priorities right now are investment attraction, business advisory services, tourism industry growth and support, broadband, housing, and business employment. And I'm going to go into those in a little more detail. There we go. So of course, welcome to Victoria County. So within investment attraction, we're working on several different aspects. One of the big ones that everybody here is probably very well aware of is the Cape Smoky Holding. Within that, we've been working with Cape Smoky Holdings from the beginning, from when they initially started to come in and look at this as a piece of land that they wanted to purchase. We were able to hold their hand and walk them through the process with the province, and then looking at other different government relationships as those move along. Of course, the county here has been a huge supporter of that, insisting them as they are looking to grow and move that. We still work with them on a weekly basis where we're able to help them sort of navigate the different hurdles. We work with them on their planning. We work with them on any issues that come up to make sure that this is a successful project that integrates into the community and works with all the other businesses that are involved. Of course, in investment attraction, you don't ever want a business that's going to come in that's going to hurt the other businesses around. So we're here to able to ensure and make sure that the needs are met of that businesses and the needs that are met of the other ones within the community. We've also been helping and working with adventure tourism. When you look around at what Cape Breton has, in particular in Victoria County, adventure tourism is one of the biggest aspects in the fastest growing tourism industry in the world. We have natural resources, we have hiking trails, we have biking trails, we have what a lot of the other places in the world thrive to have, and we have it right here in our municipality. So the Cape Breton Partnership has been looking at what opportunities are there. We've been working with consultants that have brought in, and we've been helping them to identify what businesses are available and then finding people to match with those businesses, and that work will continue to move along. The Mountain Bike Strategy and Action Plan, we worked with the municipality here and as well with Shoreline Consulting on coming up with the strategy for mountain biking. That falls sort of under the the adventure tourism strategy, but within that the consultant identified, I believe it was 18 separate places that are looking and wanting to develop actual mountain biking parks and trail systems. When you look at that and you bring it in to the overall projects and what's possible here, we're hoping and planning to have at least 5 or 6 mountain bike terrain parks in Victoria County, which with the economic growth that comes, which is visible in the plan, would show just within the millions of dollars of potential growth that could come in, new business opportunities in ways that we can add more much needed jobs and business possibilities for those that are interested. So when a new business comes in with the investment attraction aspect, often we'll get a call from the councillors, or they'll come in through the CAO here. We'll come up and say we have a new business that's looking to get started. We'll walk them through that process on how, everything that they need to do, whether it comes to figuring out how to register their name. One of the biggest questions comes, should they be a partnership or a corporation or a sole proprietorship? We're able to walk them through that and direct them towards the other resources that are needed. And then making sure what the needs are met. Sometimes when it comes more for business investment inquiries, they'll come in and they're looking at several different areas, and we're able to match and see if we have what they need. So it could be looking at aspects like three-phase power, water, access to the ocean, access to shipping, access to airports, and we're able to let them know what we have here and make sure those are, that their needs will be met and that they can move. That can often be a really quick process depending on what they're looking at, but we're here to help them figure that out and move along. At our core is our business advisory services. So that starts with one-on-one business support, and that's where a business will call us up or we will call them up and see what we can do to help them. That can be always starts off with a conversation, and then we're able to direct and see what they need. And within that, often it comes to business counseling. So if a business was struggling, I'll work with them personally to get into their numbers, look what they're doing right, look what they might be needing help with, and come up with a plan that is able to move them forward and help and make them more successful and meet their needs. Seasonal roundups we're doing right now. So after season's over, we'll do a tour around and we'll visit all these individual businesses that are wanting our help. And we will have a look what worked for them, what didn't work, and try to come up with solutions and things that'll make them more successful in the next year. Of course, COVID support, that has been a huge one this year, right from day one up to present. So we just started back in March and moving forward. A lot of those programs come out are complicated and hard to understand. We're there to help them move through and figure out which business or which support can help them and even help them with the applications. Action plans comes back into the one-on-one business support. We're able to help them do and create action plans that can move them forward, whether it's a 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 15 year plan on, and that depends where the business wants to go and how we can help them. And then of course business expansions. Cape Smokies is a really great example with that and the amount of hype that's coming around and the business opportunities within the Ingonish area alone. There's been over, I believe it's 18 businesses that have identified that they want to expand. We're able to help them with that. Even one place just recently we're looking at the footprint of how they're going to expand their building and making sure that it makes sense with how traffic would flow through it. And then of course new business startups. If a business is going and they are serious about starting a business, then we have our business planning advisor that Carla led to as part of the team, who's not here tonight, Shannon McNeil. He does business plans and helps them walk through it so that they have something that they can take to a lender. Even to the point if they somehow miss us and they go to a lender, they'll often look at the business and plan and say, hey, you should contact the Cape Breton Partnership. They have a business planning advisor that can help you make your plans to a level that will make sure they are successful in getting their funding. We also have access, and this is a newer program, but our business advisory services through the virtual advisor program. I won't go into a lot of detail of this right now, but it has been created for business owners and entrepreneurs to get one-on-one support and experience of business advisors. That's above and beyond from us. It's a free program that matches them with seasoned professionals to help solve unique challenges to their businesses faced during the COVID-19. So the Tourism Industry Association of Nova Scotia, with a program that they're out there that is helping them to reach with online staff training, occupational skill training and workshops, and human resources toolkit. So within the online staff training is probably the biggest piece that's picking up right now. I think within Victoria County there has been, I believe, 23 courses that have gone out in the last couple of months for ones that are looking. So businesses now that they're going into the slow season are looking how they can support those or how they can get their employees keep moving so that they're ready for next year. And within that, it's programming or it's training from everything from front desk agent to housekeeping to event management. I believe there's a list of 30 different programs that can be out there to help them with them, and it's becoming quite successful in Victoria County while moving through it. And then they can also challenge and get their occupational skills challenge, which is a national accreditation, and that is also a big aspect for employee retention. And broadband's always a big aspect here, especially within Victoria County, but across the province. So there is a broadband committee that we've been working with here. As information comes in for broadband, we're able to speak with Develop Nova Scotia on your behalf, make sure that, arrange meetings, make sure that the county's needs are being met, look at the information and get it out to you folks in a way that it makes sense, and have those conversations that might not be as easy for you folks to have and bring them on your behalf. Within that, the last round, and we did have a meeting with a few of them, with the councillors in the room, there was areas that were underserved, and within the last round that was coming there, a lot of those areas that were underserved are going to be met. Now the timeline comes up to 2023 for those, but these areas surrounding other areas that has a shorter timeline, and after a conversation with developed, they did indicate that these areas that are underserved, it won't necessarily be 2023 before it's actually covered, because they're going to be laying the lines that are going through, and it could be more quick. So you look, by summer 22, that was the area that was supposed to be covered after the last round. So you can see a lot of white, especially around Iona there within the municipality. And now after the last round, it shows pretty much all of Cape Breton, with the exception of the CBRM being covered. So it's good news for broadband moving along, and we will continue to monitor and watch those resources and get that information back to you as it moves. On Digital Main Street, I'm going to turn it over to Carla here just to fill you in on a few details on that.
So this is a new program that we're about to start, Digital Main Street. It's a partnership with an organization. The organization is called Digital Main Street. They're out of Toronto, and ourselves and the Halifax Partnership are going to be delivering that program here in Nova Scotia. The idea is that we have so many Main Street type businesses that are not yet online, or they're online but they don't have the ability to sell through an e-com platform. So this is a free program. We'll be launching it in January, where any businesses that are interested, it's a partnership with Google and Shopify. So we will create, or there's a team that will create Shopify websites, basically, which is essentially e-com platforms for businesses who are, again, not yet online. So stay tuned for more details on that. We will email that directly once it's launched, but it will be slated to start in January.
Thank you, Carla. Okay, in the land asset database. So we've had a land asset database in function for the last few years, and we're revamping it so it's a little more user-friendly, providing better online tools for potential investors to see what's available in our region. And it also to help identify commercial land and businesses that are actively for sale or lease. So we have some draft concepts. There'll be more details coming up on that as that moves forward. That falls back into our investment attraction, where we're looking at what's available, how we get this out to other businesses or potential investors out there, and make sure that it makes sense to them as we bring them in and hopefully expand more businesses within Victoria County. Housing. So the housing study has just been completed and is being released as we speak. We have been working with with BDO on the creation of this sort of strategy, and that looked at really Cape Breton as a whole, the housing crisis that's out there. I know within many of your regions there, businesses are having a hard time finding employees, and that is because employees don't have a place to stay. Within that, this here has identified what the actual need is, what types of accommodations would be needed within these individual areas. We're now able to help take and utilize that strategy to look at different models and potential investors that are able to find housing and come up with solutions in the areas while working with the municipality on this. And then our business advisory services, this comes back to our colleague Shannon McNeil. These numbers are straight from his that are across the island, and don't also show the business advisory service that I performed separate from this. So clients engaged 164, business plans 103. Within that, there are 6 that were just completed in the last little bit within Victoria County, and there's 22 that are currently in progress right now. And then clients engaged would be 164. Like I said, that there would be another 120 on top of that would be strictly through myself as I reached out to businesses throughout the municipality. Some of those businesses can be counted 2 or 3 times if it's a different matter that comes out throughout the year. And I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Aaron here, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them after we're done the presentation.
So I'm Erin, and I'm the Creative Economy Development Officer for the partnership. I'm one of the island-wide resources, so that means I work in both the CB REN and the CBRM REN, so I share my time across the island. And my focus is on arts and culture, so the creative economy across the island, and I kind of split that into two pieces. Some of the work I do is more one-on-one with individual artists or arts organizations or creative businesses, but some of that is identifying and implementing projects that will impact the creative sector as a whole, and will try to support and grow the creative sector across the island. So my role came out of a lot of planning. In 2017, there was 2 creative sector plans, which I've shown in the pictures on the screen, both of which outlined quite a number of action items that the creative sector had identified as things that would help the creative economy to grow and help the arts and culture sector to thrive. One of those action items that was identified in both plans was to have a central resource, someone who could help to actually implement the action items and sort of bring the sector together to work towards these collective goals. So that's kind of where my position came from. So a couple of numbers for you. To date this year, I've been working on 23 of the client projects, so those are the more one-on-one projects that I would be doing, and 10 of those were in the CB REN. And I've also done 19 projects for the creative sector. A lot of the times the broader projects that I'm doing are island-wide projects, so that's why I've identified that 17 were island-wide, which just means that they're collaborative projects with groups from across the island, or things that are impacting the island more broadly, not something that's focused just in one REN or the other. And some examples of some of the projects that I've been doing, just so you have a sense of the kind of work that I am working on a daily basis. At the start of the year, a lot of what I was doing was trying to build some of the network within the creative sector and bring people together. So I hosted an event series that was engaging with artists. One of the first ones that we did was actually here in Bedeque at Victoria County Creates. I also coordinated a 2-day workshop for creative sector leaders where people came together to discuss what current priorities were and kind of find new strategies for implementing the action items that had been sitting there since 2017. And I've also been doing quite a lot since COVID, so doing things like hosting webinars, providing some of those resources individually about COVID, and it's also led to a lot of advocacy. The creative sector was one of the hardest hit during the COVID period, so I've been hosting weekly meetings with leaders from the sector across the island, and just trying to identify projects and things that we could do to help support artists as well as the creative organizations. One of the big projects that came out of that was that I secured funding to employ 20 artists through the Job Creation Partnerships Program. So one of those is finishing up this week, and another is going on until February, but it let artists be paid for work that they were doing that is actually creative work. And I've also been working on creating an advisory panel and a network of creative sector teams, so just another way of bringing the sector together to discuss some of these issues and the ongoing projects that I work on. Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Omar. I know a few of you in the room. So I will talk to you about our role, our portfolio in the partnership for labor market and immigration. The role is a mix of domestic labor market initiatives in addition to the use of immigration as we deal with chronic shortages across multiple sectors because of the aging population. We are focusing on fostering inclusive labor market development, aligning skills with labor market needs, and creating efficient labor markets, while attracting and retaining talent to Cape Breton Island, utilizing the full immigration spectrum when needed. Sometimes domestically, we might not be competitive, or we just facing a shortage of specific occupations across the country, so we'll use immigration when we need it. So immigration is a bit complex. It is a shared responsibility between the provincial and federal government. and it is a regulated area of practice with a number of procedures that may involve provincial, federal, and standalone authorized service providers for educational assessments or languages. Just last week, Minister Mendicino announced that the coming into force of the College of Immigration and Citizenship Consultants Act. Before, the field was regulated under the Immigration Act. Now it has its own act and its own regulation, and the new act coming into force transfers the regulator to a college, so similar to the College of Physicians or College of Nursing. So I'll take you very briefly through some statistics. So this is an age pyramid. As you can see, the gray bars are for Cape Breton Island, and the black line is the national average. As you can see, for our pyramid, as you go up, it's the older the age, and going wide is the count, male and female. We are significantly older than the rest. And just to put things into context, the Conference Board of Canada said that by 2035, 25% of Canada's population will be over the age of 65. Cape Breton's population is much older than the national average already. In the 2011 census, it was 19% of Cape Breton's population were above the age of 65. In 2016, it grew to over 23. The national average right now is currently at 16. Cape Breton is at 23 from 2016 census. Victoria County is already at 25. So we are 10 years behind the national average. Almost 100% of Canada's net population growth will be through immigration by 2035, and that's attributed because of fertility rates, the aging, and retirements. So, good news. Sorry about the doom and gloom, but the good news, the good news is that we're doing really well compared to when we started, to where we were, and where we are right now. Cape Breton Regional Municipality has seen a boost in overall population, which hasn't been happening for a while, actually. In fact, it's been more than 2 decades that we've been losing around 1,000 due to outmigration, retirements, negative natural growth. And the rates have slowed down for all the municipalities as well. So the wins here, and when I originally started with the partnership, right now, I'm sorry for not mentioning, my role is covering both RENs, so I'm a shared resource similar to Aaron. So I am your labor market development officer, and for the CBRM as well. Since we started in 2017 on the Atlantic Immigration Pilot, we've really started pushing the regionalization. Immigration regionalization is when the benefits of immigration are shared equally across the whole country. And usually you would see immigrants going to the MTV area, Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, but now we're seeing regionalization. Victoria County, I'll mention, we've supported, so the Atlantic Immigration Pilot it's a provincial federal program where employers, it is driven by employers, and once employers are approved, these are designations, then we support them to do endorsements, and this is when they have a job offer, they make it in a shortage occupation, and we attract someone here. To date, we have supported 23 individuals, or we supported 23 employers for 23 job offers. And these job offers usually include it's for permanent residency, so that involves their spouse coming in as well and children. So these are, additional spouses working for other jobs that are local and children going to school. For permanent residency admissions, Victoria County have had 385 year over year. We've been seeing 40% increase. But for Victoria County, you've had 25 for 2019. You haven't had more than 15 permanent residency admissions since 2015. So we broke that barrier, and we're hopefully going to keep going post-COVID. Wondering if I'm missing anything else. So after the Atlantic Immigration Pilot, we didn't stop there. So we needed more. We knew we needed more to do more for employers. We are employer-focused in terms of support for labor market and immigration initiatives. So we went on and we signed a memorandum, an MOU with Immigration Canada on the Global Skills Strategy, and that's when eligible employers, we refer them to the federal government to get hands-on access to a customer service, dedicated service channel officer, which is unheard of. They give you access to a lot of great information. Furthermore, we also partnered with Employment and Social Development Canada on the Global Talent Stream, which is expedited labor market impact assessments for qualifying employers. We've participated in international recruitment events. When we are participating in a recruitment event, we contact all employers that we work with. What are you having a hard time with? We verify eligibility, and we represent them for promoting their openings, their positions. Because of the Atlantic Immigration Pilot success as well, we've started also referring some employers to the Nova Scotia Nominee Program because the Atlantic Immigration Pilot, we're running allocations quickly for the program. Also, it is good to note that myself and a colleague, we're building immigration capacity at the partnership. Because this is a regulated area, we will be able soon to support employers in areas that previously we were not allowed. So, of course, bringing people is one thing, and bringing talent and families, retaining them is a whole different story. So, yep, there we go. So, in the same time that we started the Atlantic Immigration Pilot, also the partnership at the same time, which is around attraction, at the same time the Cape Breton Local Immigration Partnership was formed. The CBLIP is a collaborative community initiative designed to improve the integration of newcomers in Cape Breton. It was launched in June of 2017. The Local Immigration Partnership works at local level to foster a community that is welcoming and inclusive and to support newcomers to become fully engaged in the social, economical, and political and cultural life of Cape Breton. Key strategic priorities from the strategic plan, which were done after consultation around the island, is improving coordination, raising awareness, and supporting research and planning and fostering welcoming communities. And I believe Perla as well, you're the co-chair of the CBLIP. Thank you for your time on that. And then the Welcome Network, because of the strategic priorities from the CBLIP, after there was identified that we needed an initiative to help coordinate volunteers who want to engage in helping newcomers. So the Welcome Network is a constellation of local volunteer-led welcome groups comprised of established Cape Bretonners eager to share their passion for Cape Breton and Wagi with all newcomers. This is really it's beneficial not just for newcomers, but even if we have someone come from any other province or someone who's being repatriated and coming home. You know, just having someone there to tell you where you need to access resources, where to get things done, and you know, because of smaller communities, very tight-knit, so someone on the inside to let you in on all the secrets and all the best kept secrets and gems would be very beneficial. Welcome to CapeBreton.ca, not .com, .ca. This is our flagship website that we use for anything promoting Cape Breton. We have a full guide that it talks about all the different communities, the programs. If there's anyone that wants to learn anything about Cape Breton, this is our site, and this is the site that we use for international attraction as well. The Cape Breton Job Board, and I know, Leanne, you're using the job board, thank you very much. Before, when we had the Cape Breton Job Expo, we were helping 30 employers with around 250 positions, I think in 2019. 2020, we were supposed to do the expo again. We had over 300 positions, but then COVID happened. We always had the idea of having a job board because we don't have one place. When we have people interested in coming to Cape Breton, we end up sending them to the Job Bank or Career Beacon. We don't have our own site to promote our local opportunities. So also from the Job Expo, it was identified that we needed, transportation was a concern, accommodation was a concern and transportation was a concern, and then the Cape Breton, the CBU shuttle service came into effect. Out of the research that was done, the needs that were identified from the Job Expo, and they are shuttling a lot to Victoria County because you're the closest, right, for Badek. So yeah, the job board is a really incredible tool, and we're actually enhancing it because it hit a really good note. There's a lot of people that the views, social views alone, and how it was welcomed was really well. Yes, that's fine. That's good. Thank you.
So I think we're well over our time, so I won't continue with the rest. But I may be open for questions if you have questions for us.
Thank you, and we appreciate your time as always, and thanks again for coming to council and very informative information from each of the individuals that presented. So as we usually do, we're just going to go around the table and give the opportunity to the councilors if they have any questions for whoever priority it is that they have a question about. They can direct it to you, and then you can direct it to who you feel is best appropriate to answer the question. We'll start with the deputy warden, please.
The one thing that was really interesting was the digital Main Street. So that's just starting. Is anyone actually on board of that yet, or is that just coming out, I guess?
So we have 2 staff members in place that are currently working to try to get the stuff set up online on our site, which is where individuals or businesses would go to sign up for the program. So, so that will be launched over the coming weeks, and we hope by January to have it in place. So again, if you know of any businesses that are not yet online, or they need to improve their online presence, just reach out to Patrick, and we can make sure to get you connected.
Okay, great. No, with the pandemic, I think that's excellent. I think, and I've heard a lot about people wanting to do that, so I think it's a great initiative, and I think it's going to be very successful. But no, thanks everybody. Greatly appreciate the presentation.
Thank you.
Councilor Oregon, any questions?
No, great presentation, and thank you, and it's a lot of reading. I'm going to look into it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Councilor McDonald.
Well, thank you very much for your presentation. All great information. Broadband seems to be a hot topic around Victoria County. I was just wondering in regard to the job board that Omer, is that on the website? Does that include Victoria County as well, like job openings?
Yes. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you very much, and continue the great work.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor McNeil, any questions or comments?
No, thank you all for the update. I'm just wondering, I know there's confidential information with projects going on, but is it possible for council to get an update on projects that are going on, like yearly or bi-yearly or something like that?
Yeah, there's certainly some information that we can pass along, but we do have confidential agreements with some of these projects that are moving there. But if there's specific projects, we can see what we can share about that. Of course, we can give, larger updates of the broad aspect of that to you on a semi, on a every half year, every year, if that's what council would like.
Even like to get an update on each region, what's going on, like the number of projects that are going on.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm also available to come to each councillor and speak, individually about the projects that are working in there, and it's often easier to cover, projects that are happening there, and make sure you get the updates that you need to help out within your area.
Yeah, and I also want to thank you for the help you've given with Develop Nova Scotia on the broadband project. Still, there is a couple of areas within the county that has to be looked at. We'll have to get in touch with you. 2 major areas for sure that we have to look at. So we'll be in contact.
And Carla has requested the actual maps to come out in the drawings right from the service provider.
Yeah.
To make sure that we can properly identify those areas that aren't, so we can take that to Develop Nova Scotia and say, look here, these areas still aren't covered. What's happening with the plan?
Exactly.
It does take some time to get those maps.
Yeah.
And as you might recall, in the last round at the end of the summer, we're still waiting on a lot of those maps. So it does take some time on the provider's side.
Because I noticed on the map, it looks like the District 1 area is all purple now, and right now, it's from the information that's up on the website, it shouldn't be all purple.
Yeah, and I think they should be able to respond to that. I would hope if we get that meeting solidified.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor McLeod.
Thank you, everybody, for the presentation. I know it's confidential. Very excited about that mountain biking strategy. So, hope so we can have some news about that. Broadband, I'm the same with Paul about the areas in my district. Some they are very just identify them. So I hope looking forward for the map. And from the Cape Breton Job Board. Do you want us to make more, do you have employers from Victoria County, like enough people companies, or we can help you with that?
So CapeBretonJobBoard.com, you can get to it that way, or you can get to it through our website. It's free for employers to post if you're able to share it within your district, or if you have Facebook pages. We regularly go, each week we will highlight postings, especially as they're coming due, to try to get some social media attention around those positions. And there are a lot of Cape Breton companies that it takes some time, right, to get the word out about the tool, and to get not just the employers on board, to get them signed in, but to get the job seekers to start using the tool. So, but we've made some really great headway over the last couple of months.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Longva, any questions or comments?
Yeah, thanks for your great presentation, and I did have a question when you were talking about, advisory services for people starting businesses, like, would that be just like one individual if they want to start a business, like an example, obviously carpenter is an example, if they want to start a carpentry business, would that fit into the program, like, will you giving them advice and
Absolutely.
deciding whether they should be like private or like a sole proprietor or incorporated?
Yeah, what we would do is we bring the information to them to make sure that they're making informed decisions. So as your example of, if someone came to me and said, I want to start a carpentry business, I would have a conversation, see what they've done in the meantime, see if they've started a business plan, see what information they have, and then answer the questions that they have coming through. So some people, they just have a few questions how to get started, and we will. Other people, we will walk them through the whole process right up until they open, but then they also have our services moving forward after that. So it is a complete service around to get a business from somebody just with an idea, whatever that idea is, right to them, starting, and then monitoring them while they move that business
It's
along.
all free?
It's all free, yes.
Can I just ask you to turn your mic on, Councillor, please? Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, and then I also wondered, it's Cape Breton, jobboard.com, is that what it is? Okay. And also with the broadband, I was really happy to see that New Campbellton, New Harris were on the latest list, and some of the other Bedeck Bay. There still is a big section in my district too that is, like not getting any, which is, they weren't on that list from the Lobster Galley all the way around St. Anne's and through Indian Brook. But it's great what's happening.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we'll continue to look at that, as we were mentioning, that we're kind of in contact to find out exactly where those at. So the ISPs would have put in a bid, which would have included individual streets and names, and that's what we've requested to have, so that we can come back and be able to pass that information along to council of, like, here's what's actually being covered. And hopefully that information comes before the maps do, but we're here to definitely watch. We want to see all of Cape Breton with 100% coverage. We don't want any little missing pockets. So we will be your advocates to make sure those areas get covered and arrange those meetings that we need you folks to be part of as required. And we will take your concerns directly to develop in the internet service providers as well. So, and we'll pass that information along as it comes.
Thank you.
And I'll add one other thing regarding the support for business services. So something also that Patrick mentioned was the virtual advisor program. So that's a program that we offer as well that's of no charge, where if you know of a business that's in your area that is looking to pivot, perhaps they've been in business for some time, but maybe they've been affected by COVID and they want to look to pivot, we can match them with a virtual advisor who is essentially somebody who's either a seasoned executive somewhere, who's, somebody within the country. We're using a tool called Boomers Plus. We are able to match local companies with a mentor, if you will, through this virtual advisor program. So it's a virtual advisor. In other words, the person isn't located here, but if there's somebody that you're looking for guidance, that's kind of over and above the work that we do here on the ground. That's also something that's of no charge to businesses, and they can apply online through our website.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other questions or comments?
No, that's it.
Sorry?
That's it, thank you.
Thank you. And Councillor McNeil has a follow-up question.
Yeah, just with the broadband project again, like, would Develop Nova Scotia mind the counselors getting in touch with them individually and having a conversation with them, like maybe through the partnership or whatever? But it seems like when we're all on one meeting, they don't seem to want, like, they don't seem to hear the problems that are in the individual areas.
I think a lot of it is because they often find themselves in between RFPs, right? So often there's very little information they can share because they're in negotiations with the service providers. So right now, I would assume, or because that announcement was just made, maybe a good time to reach out to have those further conversations. So we can certainly do that and request a conversation with Develop and Council, if you'd like us.
I would suspect they'd be open to that, Councilor McNeil, and I'd be happy to arrange one for your district with the appropriate people.
It's just to get those individual spots looked at and make sure they know about it. So, okay,
Absolutely.
thank you.
And one final thing I'll note is that in front of you, you have a copy of our year in review. So that is our annual report, which will kind of highlight all of the things from last year for information.
Just a quick question. Your presentation, great information tonight by everybody. Can you give us a copy of that presentation? We'd like to put it on our website. It's a great way to show what the partnership is doing, and it's a great way to show what the relationship between the partnership and Victoria County is. So if you could send that to us, and that way we can pick up your other key areas that I know you want to talk about this evening as well, but we're just a little tight on time, so is that okay? And I just want to mention too, particularly new councillors, that we've always had a very positive and supportive relationship with the partnership, and it's been an excellent relationship since the inception of the partnership, and it's through the leadership of Carla, and certainly with the addition of Patrick and other staff and resources that we now access that previously we didn't have that. So it is a model that is working for us, and I want to thank you again for coming to council, and thank you again for the presentation, the information you gave us this evening. So thank you very much.
Our pleasure. We're happy to be here, and if you need anything at any time, just feel free to reach out. We've also given you copies of the latest edition of Elevate magazine, which comes out 4 times a year and highlights Cape Breton business success stories. And this last edition was all about COVID-19 and local companies that have pivoted during the pandemic. So thank you for having us.
Great. Thanks again. We appreciate your time. And council is going to take a 10-minute break, and we'll reconvene at approximately 6:05. reconvene the general meeting of council for November 30th. And I failed to mention earlier when we opened council that we are down one councilor tonight. Councilor Patton let me know that he was not going to be available for council this evening, so he is notified, and I accepted his regrets. So he is. That's why he's not in attendance tonight. So on our agenda, we are looking at the minutes of our last council meeting, which was on November November 18th. Those minutes were circulated to you earlier this week, and you've had a chance to review them. And do you see any errors or omissions in those minutes? Yes, sir, Deputy Ward.
Just two things under District 6, under the district issues. One of the things, Mr. McDonald suggests that residents who have road complaints should email him directly. I think that's referred to counselors should email him directly, and residents should be using the 1-800 number. And the only other thing was, no, that's it for now. That's good, just that one point.
Thank you. Any other corrections that needed to be made? We're good. Can we have a motion to adopt those minutes with the noted correction, please? Thank you, Councillor Longba. Seconded by
Second?
Deputy Warden Daphne. All in favor? Contrary minded? Motion is carried, and we want to thank Stephanie for doing those minutes. It's the first meeting that she's recorded in full, so thank you very much and good job. And duly noted. Is there any business arising from the minutes of November 18th? CAO.
Yeah, I just have a couple of things that came out of it, and from a couple of council sessions ago. I've sent out a copy of the CDDI bylaw. I would like to have a second reading of that at our next council session, December 14th, so if you could all review that so that we could do a second reading, and then we will push forward to have a public hearing after that. We are also still pushing residents, or hoping residents will sign up for the Voyant Alert app so that they can get municipal disruptions, or especially as we're heading into the winter season, it would be good to be kept up to date on collections and water utility and anything municipally run. Just to let everyone know, we're having our cannabis check-in meeting on December 2nd related to the cannabis committee that we've had. We're just discussing it. We're not imbibing. I've also requested information from Transport Canada related to the flying altitude, and I'm waiting for a response from them. I've received this afternoon a report from our CFO related to the daycare funding, and I'll be forwarding that along to council, looking for a recommendation related to that. And just to let everyone know, I saw a copy in the test mode related to our new website. Saw that today. It looks really good, and it will be out soon. We're just not there yet, but it was pretty exciting to see, so I'll let you know.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments for the CAO in regards to old business coming from previous minutes? And just a reminder to everybody, turn their mics on when they are speaking, including myself. So, any questions or comments for the CAO in regards to old business? Thank you. We're going to move on to new business, the CAO's report, please.
Yeah, thanks. So I've forwarded it on along to all of you. Have the rejection numbers that collections have had for the last few weeks. We're averaging about 15 bags a week around the whole county for rejections. So we are looking to do some more education and pushing out some more information so that we can get those numbers lower, because we've seen those numbers a lot lower in the past. I've had a couple of department head meetings since the last council session. Just wanted to let you know some of the things that are being worked on. So our tourism department, our tourism director has attended the tourism conference with Destination Cape Breton. said there was good web traffic there and was encouraging, they were encouraging winter tourism. He's also working on a winter readiness program and looking at partnering with influencers to tell us what we need. And this will be a Inverness, Victoria, ACOA, DCBA initiative. There's also a washroom signage project that is going on, which we'll also be partnering with Inverness. So the funding that we received for washroom buildings also had some funding related to the signage that goes along with them. So we're getting some Cabot Trail branding around our washrooms that we're working on. He's also been talking with Develop Nova Scotia on the placemaking project that there was the presentation on last week before at the Committee of the Whole meeting. And Develop Nova Scotia is interested in our placemaking project, and we're hoping to hear more from them in the future. One thing that just came out this afternoon in the tourism area, we've sat in on a couple of calls where there was concerns related to the Doers and Dreamers booklet that went out last year, that some of our operators had advertised in, and then COVID hit and they weren't able to get any of the traffic or had to change their business practices, and it was a substantial funding. So there was a letter that came out today from Minister McClellan, and they are going to be refunding those operators or anyone that had advertised in it. And so they're holding off on this year's upcoming book, but the advertising that happened for last year, they should be cutting a check in the near future. So that was good news. Active Living and Recreation, which was Lydia's department. She's working on the Adopt a Family. The deadline for that is December 4th. So we're asking staff and council to get involved in that. She's also planning a winter staff event to get out and get active. And she's helped with the Christmas event that happened here in Bedeque last week. I'm hoping everyone has seen the Christmas lights that we've had put out, and so we've had lots of staff help with that. Well, actually, one staff in particular, Bruce Morrison, not the warden, the other Bruce Morrison, who did a fabulous job out there. And we also had help from Nova Scotia Power with Sean McSween and Matt Rutledge help out on that. So thank you very much for your help in looking so great outside. Lydia's also looking into an expressive arts workshop happening around the county. She was part of a special events task force, or she is part of a special events task force. They had a meeting with CAOs, I had a meeting with the province and the members of the group last week, and the province is looking to come to update council on this special events task force, which is kind of a really neat idea if there's any new initiatives or events that could be happening around the island. This group will help those planners have the steps that they need, or all the administration involved in it. So did you think about paramedics? Did you think about RCMP? So a group that helps with taking some of the work out of getting the administrative stuff done on it. So the province will be coming to talk to us about that. She's also looking into doing, Lydia in Active Living Recreation is looking to do a seniors walking soccer program, which sounds really fun. And so she'll be bringing some information related to that in the near future. She's also looking to do some more hikes and working on a youth council project as well. In our finance department, Amy was working on the daycare analysis, and she's also looking to partner with Dan on the placemaking project. So we're going to have a lot of departments working together. Our Public Works is working on getting ready for winter, so a winter ready program. Is dealing with lead sampling project that's happening right now and advising participants about the exposure. And just to let everyone know, our 2 water operators that we have down, well, they're stationed down north of Smoky, they have both received their level 1 certification. So very good news. We're waiting to get the actual certificate, but great for them. Economic development, so Patrick that was here before, he's working with Wagman, Cook, and ACOA on trail funding options in that area. We also had that visioning session that was supposed to happen last week, but was canceled, or it was postponed due to COVID. So we will be looking to schedule that coming up sometime in the new year. He has helped out with the broadband project, which he spoke about with Develop Nova Scotia, some meetings that we had. He's also working on an investor package related to the housing strategy. And as he spoke about, he's doing seasonal roundups and counseling and site visits around the county. A couple of other things that we're working on. So right now we're monitoring the COVID second wave, and we'll decide at some point how we will be progressing. And we'll let council know as soon as we know of anything. We're working with Parks Canada on a water contract for us to take over their water system down there. So Parks right now is in the process of, they have it with their contract team, and we're waiting to hear back with them. Jocelyn and I met with the zero waste researcher, so we hired a new researcher to work on 4 mini projects. And we're going to be doing bi-weekly meetings, and she is going to be touring the sites this week with Jocelyn and seeing what's actually on the ground there and helping that to form her reports. And so Councillor McLeod will be having a meeting next week with her. Just to let everyone know, we also will be looking to have a strategic priority session in the upcoming future. This is where council decides on, for the new ones, where council decides on what our priorities are for the upcoming 4 years. We have one which is on the back of your agendas right now, but it would be nice to have a check-in and to see if that is still the council priorities. So we will be looking to update that. We just have to see how the second wave plays out with that. So maybe we'll do virtual or in person, we're just not sure yet. But I'll be getting some information out about that in the new year. We also have hired an operations efficiency manager through Efficiency Nova Scotia, who will be looking to assess our infrastructure and trying to make it more efficient. And we are also in the process, I've had some conversations with an appraiser, and we are getting a new appraisal done for the White Point subdivision lots. And there was a council motion back when the sites became about in 1999 that they are to be sold at fair market value. So we're looking, our last appraisal was back in 1999, so we're getting another appraisal on those right now. And I believe that that is what I have for this week.
Any questions or comments for CAO, please?
Just one with the signage project, is that just for the Cabot Trail?
Those, yes, so the money that we receive from the province to put washrooms in is for washrooms around the Cabot Trail, because it was related to a Cabot Trail funding project. So the washroom signage that's being worked on right now is for those locations that are located around the trail, yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other questions or comments for the CAO, please? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Leanne. We're going to move on to the taxation update.
Sure. So I received some information from Amy, our CFO. So as of today, November 30th, we have a total outstanding of $1.9 million, and I believe you've all received a copy of this as well. So we have total outstanding of 1.9 compared to 1.89 at this time last year, so it's actually close to $12,000 higher than it was year over year. Our current outstanding, which is this year that we have billed, is at 1.27 million compared to 1.23 million last year, which is $40,000 higher. And our arrears, which is prior years, not the current year, is sitting at $639,000 compared to $667,000 in last year's number. So we're actually better off in our arrears. We're $28,000 to the good. So the total outstanding and current outstanding have both reduced. The arrears have reduced, but it's still a large balance that we have there. So we've prepared 30-day notice letters and final 60-day notice letters for accounts that are in arrears. Our last tax sale was on November 24th, No, we did it by a tax tender, we did by tender. No actual properties sold at tender, but we had several that were collected on before they actually got there. So the ones that didn't sell had no bids come in on them. We've chosen to leave the tax installment program open, really basically based on the other program that's available through the province also. So if there's anyone that's interested in applying, any of the tourism operators, please send Amy or myself a note, and we will help you through it.
Any questions or comments in regards to the taxation report?
Or the tax department.
Councillor Organ.
You mentioned the tax installment still available for tourism
Yes.
businesses.
Yes.
Is that for small businesses like motels, other cabins that are less than 4?
Yes, so the program that we have in place is for any operations that have been affected by COVID. So if they have been affected by COVID, we are asking them to put their application in, and we have a program that helps them pay off this year's taxes over the next 24 months. So it's to help with anyone that's been affected by COVID, so yes.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other questions in regards to taxation? Councillor McNeil.
Just like the deadline for the taxation this year was the end of September.
Yes,
So if you compare it to the end of July, August, are we around the same
well, July, August, we were,
of last year? I mean, like,
yeah, July, August last year compared to July, August this
Yeah.
year, we were much
Much,
farther behind.
yeah, exactly.
And like concerningly behind. So usually when you push the deadline ahead, most will wait until the
Yeah,
absolute
exactly. That's
last
what I'm
minute.
getting at. So, like, with the same, like, kind of time period
Yep.
we're working with, are we farther behind now than the
No,
last?
I think because even if it was August last year and September this year, we're past there.
Okay.
So the fact that we're only 11,000 higher this year over last year in
Yeah.
total
That's-
says that we're doing quite well.
Well, yeah.
But this year is not, I'm not as concerned with this year as I am for next year.
Okay, yeah.
And we'll see where that comes up in budgeting, but I actually have some concerns over next year and possibly the following year after that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Councillor. Any other questions or comments? Well, I'd like to thank Leanne and Amy for providing that information tonight. Thank you very much. We're going to move on to Department of Transportation Infrastructure Renewal Concerns. We start with the Deputy Warden.
Thank you, Warden. Just 2 items, and I'll be following up with Steve on them, but mainly it's coastal erosion. Again, at the marina, we've had 3 or 4 dates of when Armourstone was going to be put in, but it has yet to happen, so I'll be following up with Steve on that one. And now just north of the top of Smoky at the first S-turn, the whole shoulder's gone. I mean, it's washed out there also, but I'll be following up with Steve directly with those 2 issues, and that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. They are noted. Councillor Organ.
Yeah, I think that's when I bring it up. I had a concern today about erosion in White Point. The civic address is 2060 on the water side. The school buses are now not allowed to go to White Point to pick up the children. If it's not safe for the school buses to go, it's not safe for the residents. They're wondering, they put barrels up. And has anybody been in White Point when the wind blows? The barrels are usually on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
They're wondering if nothing, they said it has to be cribbing put there and there's no money. The residents were talking to Department of Transport. So they're wondering if possibly cement barriers and lights can go up. So that means that the school bus can come down. I know it's only for a few children, but they're as important as any other children in this district. So if that could be noted, and somebody get hold of us, I'm going to call too about it. And a lot of people are wondering about ditching. A few driveways have been washing out in North Ingonish due to the ditching. Just wondering if Department of Transportation has any, plans on doing ditches. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and they are noted. Appreciate that. Councilor McDonald.
Yes, thank you, Warden. Just a few this evening. We're looking for an update on the stretch of roadway that was proposed from Effie's Brook North to Big Interval. Paving was slated to roughly begin in 2018 in that area, but here we are, it's 2020, and there was a letter of correspondence received by TIR that now puts that project in future years. So I'd like to clarify what future years would mean. Is that 2 years, 3 years, or is it 20 years down the road? Because that stretch of road is the last part of section of the Cabot Trail after the one that comes from the English Town Ferry north to Councillor Long's district. That's the last section that was proposed to be done, and there's been nothing shed on it as of late. So if I could put that down as a inquiry, I guess, to TIR.
Yes, sir.
And secondly, I'd also like to request I could call local TR, I guess, looking for a policy or guidelines in placing of signs on the roadways. Who's responsible? Because I've had certain individuals in the district said that they call TIR and they say to call, they say to call your local councillor for placement of signage, and that my understanding that it's provincial, so it should be up to Department of Transportation to place the signs. And in some cases with the children playing signs, it was left to the resident to place them. I don't know if that's really a safe thing to have them up by our roadways doing that. So if we could get a better clarification on the policy, I guess is what I'm looking for from that. So I can have that distributed.
Yes, sir.
And that would be it for TIR this evening for District 8.
Thank you, Councilor McDonald. Councilor Longva, any TIR issues in your district tonight?
I neglected to mention last time that the New Campbellton Road there, they have a lot of problem with erosion there, and they also had asked for guardrails. But I did have a letter, I think, from Steph, just saying that there's a list for my area and what has been done on that list, which so I contacted Merrill McGinnis and asked him, but he said that, he didn't know 100% of all what was done. So I contacted Steve McDonald, and he messaged me right back and said that he's going to send me the revised list of what's done and what's not done. And I think that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor McLeod.
Thank you. I reported this issue, but it's just I want to just put in the minutes. Don't have to be in the letter. Is it okay? Yeah, it's just I report Macquarie Road west side. They need to be some work. It's a gravel road, so they need some gravel. It's a lot of potholes. So, but Macquarie Road in west side. That's reported. It's just put in the minutes for record. Thank you.
That's it?
Oh, another thing. You were saying about if I understand right, you want clarification about who from the signs, for the playing signs? Norman? Who is going to put them on?
Yes.
But when I talked to Steven, he say they're not going to put it on. They're not qualified for do that. If we was having the play signs, we will have to install the signs. So have to be public works. In my district, I do it myself.
Makes sense, but do we not have to have a written policy from TIR to release the stipulations behind that?
Well, we do have a permit from them that it's okay to put them up, but I think we should request the guidelines of proper sign placement.
But that why we send, before they give us the okay, we send the address. You have to send the address where you want them, and they review, and that why they say okay. So if this is going to be a new ones, you will have to send first your address, and then we'll say yes or no. But for the first round was that way. We have to send first our address, and then they say yes or no. So I don't know if you want to ask, but that was the clarification he did give me before start this process. They are not installing any signs, anything. They don't in charge of that.
I think possibly though, like how high up a sign should go, how far from the side of the road, maybe those types of things. I think that
Yeah,
might be
but
something that they could clarify.
Yeah, for sure they have to get that. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for that, Councilor McLeod. Councilor McNeil, any TIR issues in your district?
Actually, they're just the ongoing issues. I had the same last week. The shoulder of the road at Hector's Point, it's dangerous if people hit it, and they're going into a bad turn. It's going to be an accident. Gillis Point Road at the bridge and the shoulder of the road, Grass Cove is given away. The grading, no grading has been done this fall yet, so hopefully some will be done in the future. It's almost winter time. Jamesville gypsum problem. They said they were going to patch the area. It still hasn't been patched. And again, down through Iona at the post office, it wasn't patched yet. And they were supposed to look at signage there too, and nothing has been done. So, okay, that's it.
Thank you, Councillor. We've collected those. District number 3, just a couple of quick items for them. I'd like them to take a look at the area of Old Margery Road in front of the hospital. There's a lot of water damage and erosion that's happened on what's a portion of the shoulder of the road. It's getting quite deep, quite dangerous for anybody that should happen to pull over there with a car or be walking up. It's getting quite deep and should be looked at and addressed. And a couple of months ago I asked about the status of ditching to be done along the Shore Road. Haven't heard anything back unless you've received correspondence otherwise, but a lot of vegetation growing in the ditches up there, and it's probably time. It doesn't allow those ditches to drain properly, and there's a lot of flooding and pooling happening along the Shore Road, and it's as a result of those ditches not being cleared in the last number of years. So is there any other final comments or recommendations for Department of Transportation Infrastructure Renewal? We'll gather those, forward them to the appropriate person responsible. I'm going to move on to, is there any notice of motions tonight? There are none. District concerns. We'll start with district number 1.
Just that same issue, the busing issue that was looked at last meeting. It still hasn't been resolved. So if a letter could be sent to the school board, that would be great. Thank you.
You put that in the form of a motion, please,
I'll
Councillor?
make that a motion that a letter be sent. We have a letter, yeah. It was made a
Oh, it's
motion
already- Okay.
last meeting. Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
so the letter is gone. We're just waiting on response.
Okay. Thank you.
Nothing else?
That's
No
it.
other districts. Councillor McLeod, District number 2.
Yeah, I just have two things really the same. It's about the street lights. I have the Beverly Hills street light is not working since 4 months. I reported in August 24th and in the council meeting, and it's still not working. I received many calls again. Very upset. The people. It's very dark. If you can drive right now, it's going to be so dark. The curb, so it's safety too for anybody. So if I can have some update, what's wrong with that, with the light. And another one, I have this before about the Old Margery Road in the corner where is the HES. It's very dark too. They told me Nova Scotia Power can do it because there's no power around there. They can hook anything. We have to do maybe this is the same like a Beverly Hills light, but if we can ask our MLA Keith Bain, maybe he can help us to find the way to put one there. I can make a motion to send him a letter asking for the help to how we can put some lights there if he can help us with the province. Yeah, yeah, will be great because another one is not really working. We have too much problems about the yeah.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilor McLeod. We have a seconder, please.
I'll second.
Seconded by the Deputy Warden. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, the motion is carried and the correspondence will be sent.
Thank you.
Councilor Longba, District Number 4.
Yes, apparently, someone loves the name Skirdo because they keep stealing the sign. So, I had a request that that sign be put back again. The spelling is Skir, and then the next word's Dhu, Skirdo. So, yeah, they just like that to be put back.
I believe
And-
is that the TIR sign? That's-
Yes.
That's the road sign?
Yeah, it's the road sign. The Skirdo road sign is, they would like it replaced. And I guess they would just figure that out, on Google Maps or something, cause, the lady who brought it to my attention said that when they did replace it last time it was stolen, that it was put in a different location. And she doesn't know the exact location, but somebody must know the exact location. Then another, complaint was about a sign that is on the way between the Lobster Galley and the Gaelic College, and it also is a transportation sign. It's really like in rough shape, and it says it's 500 meters to the Gaelic College, and it says Kiad Mialafacha on the sign, but the sign is really, really old, and they would like that to be replaced. And then I just wondered about a concern I mentioned last time about the emergency phone around the harbor, if that's a possibility.
So I've contacted our EMO, EHS, Fire Services Coordinator related to that. He is contacting EMO provincially on that. His first thoughts are that they are extremely costly to put in place, and the ones on North Mountain are insanely expensive. But he thinks it might be more, it might be, we might have a better shot at maybe getting an old phone booth there where there's an actual phone. So he's still investigating it right now.
Getting an actual what?
Phone booth?
Oh, phone booth,
Like in
yes.
the old fashioned.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so.
And one other thing I wondered is if I could get some of those Victoria County recyclable bags, shopping bags to take to the Rec Cove store, because we don't have like a Co-op or a Fresh Mart. So just like to have some, I don't know how many, but just so he could give it out to local residents that come in.
Jocelyn should be able to hook you up with that.
Okay, and that's it for me, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Deputy Warden Doffey.
And look at the the database that we have for the lands that are owned by the municipality in each district. I know in my district there's only a couple, but we'd like to look at them and see what is the possibilities and make some decisions on moving forward. Our land.
Our land that we own?
Yeah, our land that we own, yeah.
Yep, that would be a
Exactly.
good couple-hour project.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm thinking the housing study and that at the same time, and I think we really got to get moving on this.
Yes.
It's time's floating by, so
Yep.
if we could. And that's it for District 6.
Yep, we can arrange that.
Thank you, Councillor, and housing was a priority for us last time, so receiving that strategy is key moving forward, so it's an excellent idea, and we'll schedule a special meeting just to deal with the housing strategy. It's a good point, thank you for that. Councillor Organ.
A couple things. I've got a complaint about the garbage around the recycling depot, across the road, down the road. It's when the blue bags come in, they get dumped, and then they bust open and everything blows around. So just wondering if, I don't know if there's something in place that could get them to clean it up. I don't know if Robert has anything in place for that, or.
I'm sure it's not the first time that they've heard that. I think there's, I'll have to ask him so that he can clarify that.
Okay, and another resident who watches says they have not seen an RCMP report in a while. I'm wondering, since it's one of the county's most expensive projects, that we're not getting one monthly to know what the RCMP are doing. I would appreciate that. And another one we had, I brought up last time about the school bus stop in Niels Harbor. The parents are concerned. They're at the post office. I've spoke with Tara Gaskell, and the parents have too. It's not in a position to put signage up for a bus stop. And her suggestion right now is to go to the RCMP. So I don't know if you would contact them, or if you want me to do it, or.
I can get in contact with them down there. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
And also related to the RCMP report, so we had Gavin here, the department supervisor. That was back in September, I believe. So we did have a presentation, but they have not, you're correct, they have not provided a monthly report in quite a while. So I will put a request in for that again. Yep.
I mean, it's like, even for us to ask them questions too about certain, certain things that our community is looking forward to, that would be greatly appreciated.
Yep.
Thank you.
Just with that, Councillor, if with your request for the RCMP, it should be in the form of a motion, just so that we capture it. And just that you, I just want to be clear on that. Did you want them to come to council once a month, or a written report once a month?
I would like them to show up once a month. Can I
Okay.
put it through a motion that we should have an RCMP representative come to our council meetings at least once a month to give us a report?
Okay. And if that is the motion, and do we have a seconder for that?
No, second that.
Seconded by Councillor McDonald. All in favor? Contrary minded? Motion is carried, and that will depend on scheduling, et cetera, et cetera. But even if they're not here in person, at least a monthly report, and in person when someone is available. Okay, we'll ask CAO to contact the RCMP in that regard. Councillor McDonald.
Just a question on it. Does the Municipal Act state that there's supposed to be a police? I thought we discussed that in the past.
Yep.
Could you
Police
just
Advisory Committee.
enlighten us on that, please?
Yep, so I've been requesting a police advisory committee since I took this role on. And you have to have a member from the Department of Justice on your committee. And as many emails that as I send out, they say, we're working on it, we'll get back to you. And then it seems to just die. So there doesn't seem to be anybody concerned with us having a police advisory committee, and we can't really have one without having members from the Department of Justice. But I do have requests in, I'll follow up, but once every 6 months I ask them, how are we doing with getting a member? And they are not getting back to us, so, yeah.
I can also add that I contacted, after the last meeting, we had a volunteer from the community say that they would be interested. And I called the Minister of Justice's office and left a message asking if he would return my call, that we had somebody that was potentially interested to sit if they wished to appoint him. I've not received a response from that phone call, and that was, I'm going to say, when they were here in September. So I called in October, and I have not heard anything back from the constituency office. So maybe we'll follow up on that as well. But we do have one individual that if they don't appoint, we can certainly recommend. So it's a good point. But yes, we are required, but they have the responsibility to appoint somebody. And to date, as Leanne said, they have not done that for literally several years. Any other district concerns from you? Thank you, Councillor. Councillor McDonald, any district concerns for district number 8?
Yes, just a few, Warden, this evening. First one is I would like to request a street light, as we're allowed 2 per year, I believe. Is that correct? Correct. Street light placement ID number, I had sent to Stephanie earlier, but it's 85172. 898 in Cape North. That's for a streetlight request, please.
That's in-
85172-898.
Correct.
That is in the form of a motion. Do we have a seconder for that, please?
Second.
I heard Councillor Longva first, if that's okay with you, Councillor. We, all in favor? Contrary minded? Motion's carried. She must have had her mic on, that's why I heard her. Anything else, Councillor?
Yeah. Test, okay,
You're
sorry.
good.
I was in conversation with a local resident from St. Margaret's Village who brought up the need again for, I think it was more of year-round accessibility to washrooms within the district, but due to COVID, the two that are there now are not. They have never opened due to COVID, basically, the one that's located at the Bay St. Lawrence Community Centre. We're not really sure what the hold-up is there other than COVID, but I'd received a written letter from the constituent. I just wanted to pass it in as correspondence received in regard to public washroom access and the importance of it throughout the county. I could just give that to you, please. And lastly, the Victoria County sign at the edge of Big Interval, just on this side of Highlands National Park, is in need of replacement. It's starting to get pretty battered up looking. Someone call in regard to that, and we could have maybe Public Works go out and have a look at that when they're down that way, would be great. And that will be it for District 8 this evening.
Thank you, sir. District 3, no issues tonight, just certainly on behalf of council, we want to acknowledge and let staff know that we certainly appreciate the way that the building has been decorated for this season. It's a great reflection on the municipality, and so kudos to the staff that did that. We genuinely appreciate it. Particularly the year 2020 has not been kind to us, and I think it's a very positive reminder for us when we live in this county and this community how nice this particular property looks, and it shows we have pride in our building and our staff. And so just if you would note in the minutes that council recognizes the staff for what they've done over the last week. It's phenomenal. And I can tell you from my perspective that I've gotten probably 6 or 7 phone calls. I've gotten numerous emails, and to every one of them, and some of the other councillors as well, every one of them indicating how pleased they are and how proud they are at the way the property looks during this festive season. So thank you for that, and please let the staff know that we are passing along our appreciation for that. So with that, we are going to move on to committee reports. Are there any committee reports? Yes.
Just for the Victoria County Transit, just let you know, it's a punch pass now. The people can purchase. It will be in Stone's Pharmacy and Highland Pharmacy. So there will be the punch is 11 rides for $50. They have 1 ride free, and will be covered anywhere Victoria County. So they're trying to push the service, and will be like a Christmas gift for somebody. So if you can just pass the word to residents and support Victoria Transit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Timely.
Sounds like a commercial.
Good report. Thank you very much. Any other committee reports? Bylaws or a policy review this evening?
No, for the next one.
Okay, and that bylaw will be circulated, and you'll be ready for the second reading. Am I correct on that?
It has been circulated.
Has been circulated.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll be looking for any comments back by the end of this week, please. So if you have comments on it, and if not, then we'll take it for a second reading.
Thank you. Do you have any correspondence? I have 2 that came my way. So I had 2 items that were sent to me. One was from 3 local residents that have asked if we would, they're requesting that we review our streetlight policy. So I received the correspondence. I brought it forward this evening, and I think the recommendation is we ask staff to look at the streetlight policy and come back with any recommendations or comments at that time. We okay with that? The second item I received was from Chief Annie Bernard. It just had to, I circulated earlier today, it was about the Cape Breton bubble. And we've accepted this correspondence this evening as well. And I think as far as our municipality is concerned, we will be following the direction of Premier McNeil and Dr. Strang, and we will wait to see what their direction is. Should it be necessary, then we will agree at that time to be supportive of it, unless if it's been dictated or delegated by the province. So I think in the meantime, we'll just wait and see what happens over the next couple of weeks. Any questions or comments about that? So that was just correspondence that I had received, and CAO does not have any other correspondence?
No, any correspondence that I would have received, I've forwarded along.
Just about the Cape Breton bubble, I just put in the minutes. I received some emails too. Some of my residents are, after the Mayor McDougall was in the news, they asking if we couldn't do that. So I want to just put in the minutes. I received it. I forward the email to MLA Bain, and we know until it's not where. We can have the decision to make these decisions, but I just forward that correspondence to them.
Thank you. Should also, just before, is there any other final items to come to council tonight? Any questions from anybody that is streaming in? No questions. We want to thank staff again for providing their assistance tonight and letting us go live and streaming. Thank you, Dan Coffin, for your patience and the reminders, the timely reminders to turn our mics on or off as required. Are there any other issues to come to council tonight? Our next council meeting is
December 14th.
December 14th. So, we have a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Moved by Councilor McLeod to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? We are adjourned. Thank you for your time and attention this evening.